DC's chilling with you right here. It's 106 KMEL. Got Roy Big Country Nelson in the building. What's happening with you, brother?
Nothing. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, man, it's all good. You got a fight coming up, man. Coming up soon, September, right?
September 23rd.
Now, I mean, you know, being a heavyweight and having, you know, done MMA for a while, man, you're competing in Bellator now. Like, how are you feeling about, you know, kind of this point in your career?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like every fight I'm getting better and better, and I just can't wait to get to the Bellator belt. But first I got to beat Javi on September 23rd.
Right.
But, you know, I'm just excited.
So how long have you actually been doing this for folks who maybe haven't followed your career? I mean, I know you're definitely established in MMA. You've gone through a bunch of different, you know, places, fighting and whatnot. But, like, just, you know, tell them about your career this far.
You know what? I've been doing this thing I've been in the business for 17 years.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like I got another 3 more.
Yeah.
You know, I got to put my 20. I got to get my retirement in. You know, get that 401k.
Is that what you get? Do you get a 401k?
No.
That's what I thought. I was like, what are we talking about?
Well, I'm on the 401k like everybody else.
Okay, got it.
I'll get to it.
Tight. So you got a couple more years in the game. I mean, you're trying to go for the heavyweight belt eventually, but I mean, getting past this next guy, Javi, like, how do you feel about the fight? Do you feel are you feeling really confident? I know for a lot of fighters, like, sometimes you're like overconfident about the fight, and you're like, oh, this dude's gonna be kind of, you know, a piece of cake, and then sometimes you got to keep it real and be like, it's gonna be a little bit of competition.
No, the one thing about Javi is Javi knocked out Sergey Karnatov in like 15 seconds.
Right.
And Sergey, we're doing some MMA math here. Sergey knocked out Overeem. He's knocked out Verdum.
Right.
And he knocked him out in 15 seconds. So then I know what he's going to probably do. He's going to try to knock me out.
Right.
Which then makes it really exciting for the fans. But then on the other end, I'm also got confidence like Mayweather.
Right.
So we're all good.
Okay, well, that's tight. I mean, going into it, just knowing that, you know, you're capable. I mean, with what do you got, 15, 16 knockouts? How many knockouts do you have?
I want to say I'm like probably up to like 17 or 18.
Okay, you're at 18
19,
now.
19,
20 or so.
Let's
round up to 20.
I know how many submissions I have.
You said you do or you don't?
I do know how many submissions.
How many submissions?
Six of them, because those were my first 6, and then I learned how to knock somebody out, and then I was like, oh, no, I don't need to do that again.
How many fights? You are up to 20, 22?
No, fights-wise, I think I'm almost, 25 total, 26.
Okay. So you feel comfortable when you step into the ring?
Yeah, no, it's just another day in the office.
Right. Is there somebody who, like, you fought before who, you know, maybe when you were first starting in MMA, like, you really looked up to and you were like, yo, that's the guy. So when you're coming in, you have this idea that you're like, I don't know how this is gonna go.
No, for me, you know, training in Vegas, it's like the fight capital of the world. So, like, one guy was like Randy Couture, and I remember just like working with Randy. And then when I knew I could hang with, or even like the Chuckledells, like as soon as I knew I could hang with those guys, I was like, oh, like nobody
You
else.
weren't worried about the competition anymore.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm fighting I'm already training with the best of the best and fighting the best of the best in the, you know, in the room.
Yeah.
And then you're not even worried about like, it's like,
So folks come from like different backgrounds as far as MMA goes. What are your actual like fight backgrounds? Like, where did you really learn martial arts to begin with?
You know, the first time I learned martial arts was as soon as I saw like American Ninja, Karate Kid. Yeah. I was like, dude, I want to learn I want to be a ninja. And then my mom put me in like the recreational YMCA karate, and I was like, this is awesome. Learn how to count in count to 10 in Japanese, you know, like stuff like that. You're like, oh, this is so cool. And then when I turned 15, 16, I found Kung Fu. And then when I found Kung Fu, I think I was 21 or so. Then I found 23 or so. I found jiu-jitsu, and then when I found jiu-jitsu, I fell in love. And then that's when I actually 18 is when I fell in love with MMA.
Right.
But it was like Kung Fu, and then from there, like when I was 23, I just stayed in the jiu-jitsu business, and then it kind of.
So this has been something like you've legitimately done your entire life. It's not like you just one day were like watching on TV going like, oh yeah, those guys, they look pretty cool. I'm going to run down to my local gym and just kind of hop in.
No, it was just I wanted to just get paid to do martial arts.
Right.
So, and the only way
that was your forever life goal when you were
my
younger.
life goal was to do martial arts and get paid for it. And the only way I knew how was to, like, I wanted to be in, B movies or, like American Ninja, Karate Kid. Like, I wanted to be in movies to do martial arts, and I didn't know anything about owning a school or anything, like the other, like, typical way you would, like, do martial arts.
Make money doing martial arts.
I was like, no, I'm going to do martial arts, and I'm going to get paid. And then I kind of felt, that was, I think, in the 90s, there was, like, Tough Man competition. I was like, oh, I'm going to enter my first Tough Man competition. Wasn't old enough. They turned me down, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do my first kickboxing match. And then then I learned kickboxing matches, everybody falls out. And then I was like, ah. And then I found jiu-jitsu, and then jiu-jitsu, you could do jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I can make money doing jiu-jitsu tournaments. I'm like, I'll just stay here.
Right.
And I just started doing that, and then MMA came about when a jiu-jitsu or an MMA guy made me mad. Then I'm like, I'm gonna go take your money, and then that's how I kind of fell into the fighting part.
Okay, how did you end up connecting with like one of the guys who I remember watching when I was a kid, and I read lately not lately that you connected with, but you were connected with earlier in your career was Ken Shamrock, right? Like, how did you end up with that camp?
The Ken Shamrock thing with the IFL, it was one of my students wanted to. They had like an open tournament, or not an open tournament, like a open tryout. For his team, and we flew up to Reno. I was going to be his coach, just coaching from the side, and I just saw the competition, like, for this tryout thing, and I was like, dude, I'll laugh at these guys, and I did the tryout. Like, I submitted everybody. Like, it was just one of those things. And then Ken's like, oh, I got to have that guy. Got to have that guy. And I was like, and then I was like, oh, yeah, just talk to my, talk to my
people.
Talk to my peeps. And then next thing I know, I was in the IFL, and I was the only guy in the IFL that could actually fight in the IFL and fight for another organization, because that's how bad they wanted me.
Right. Okay. So for somebody who may be watching right now and is kind of going like, oh, well, how do I, wherever I'm at, whether or not it's a young person who's interested in martial arts and mixed martial arts, or whether or not it's an adult who may be, saying to themselves, like, this is something that I may want to do. Like, what's something that you would suggest to them to even try to figure out whether or not this is something that they want to do, either recreationally or professionally?
Like, for me, fighting wise, I didn't start until I was 28, so I was an old bloomer. But the biggest thing I would say is just go to a jiu-jitsu class, or actually not even jiu-jitsu class, a boxing class or a kickboxing class, and just do a little slap boxing. And if you start doing this, fighting's not for you.
Right.
If you're like, kind of like in football where you get ran over and you're like, dude, come through my hole again, I'm gonna flatten you out.
Right.
Then you got that attitude where you're like, okay, I might be able to fight. That was my. I'm like, I don't know if I like to get hit. Then I did it, and I'm like, no, I wanted to give it back. Like, I wanted to play Big Brother.
Right.
Little brother hit you, and you're like, oh, I got to hit you a little bit harder. That's Big Brother. If you have Big Brother syndrome, perfect for fighting.
That was the thing for me in martial arts, right? Like, for me, I always was that person who would want to be the how like the master of your school or your instructor or whatever will walk up and be like, all right, this is how you do this. I need somebody to come up here and grab the bag and then hold it. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to be that person who caught the lick in front of the school, to be able to kind of stand there and be like, yo, this is like, yo, I can take that. All right, cool. Now that you know that I can take that, like, you need to understand that when it comes my turn, I'm going to be able to give it to.
No, exactly.
Right, and I think that's kind of was my lesson, but it's different for different folks out here, and for somebody who does it professionally, like, I'm sure it's different for you.
The biggest thing is, like, think of like what a typical champion or a winner's mindset is. Basically, it doesn't matter how many times you fall; it's how many times you get up. It's not like a lot of people think it's all the way to that peak. It's not that. The peak never happens.
Right.
That's the thing. Is if you're always striving to be better, that's what martial arts is. It's all about how do you be a better person? How do you have a better body, better mental, better spiritual, like better family. Like, it's just always the balance and trying to be better.
Right. Definitely. So, fight's coming up September 23rd, right?
September 23rd at, was it SAP in San Jose?
SAP Center, yeah. SAP Center in San Jose. So, that's when that's going to be going down. Oh, we got a nice little box right here? Huh? What's that? What's going on with this?
For the first 5,000 people that buy tickets, they get their first 5,000 Fedor Emelianenko bobbleheads.
And you brought me cookies, too.
Yeah, because I'm a heavyweight, so you got to bring cookies.
All right, that's going down. Bellator 183 happening September 23rd out there at the SAP Center. Got to come see my man Big Country get it in the ring. Definitely tell him who you're fighting one more time.
Javier Ayala, but it doesn't matter who I'm fighting because you just come to watch me anyways.
I mean, basically, that's what it really comes down to. Also going to be out there on Spike TV, so make sure you check it out right there, man. Roy Big Country Nelson in the building right here. It's KMEL.
Thanks.